Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to show you guys how to make poinsettias out of these, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, chenille stems. These are the bump kinds. So basically just like your typical pipe cleaners, instead of just, you know, the one line of fuzziness, you get little bump ones. So you want the kinds that are bumpy like this. And so for this project, I'm going to be using the red ones and the green ones. So the green one obviously is going to be used for the leaves, and the red one is obviously going to be used for the flower itself. I also have these stamens here that I'm going to be using as a flower center. So to start, you're going to need 5 stems of these bump pipe cleaners. So I already started on my stuff, so I only have like, what, 2 more pipe cleaners to go. But you'll need 5 of these, okay? Once you have your pipe cleaners, what you're going to do is you're going to cut out 2 bumps. You're going to cut out 2 bumps just like so with your wire cutter. And then the 2 remaining ones, you're going to cut those in half. So half and half, okay? So I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. You want to cut this in half, and then you're going to cut this other piece in half as well. Alright. So once you have that done, you're going to take the sides with the 2 bumps. You're going to fold that in half. You want to pinch this together. Make sure you remember where the pinch is, right? Because that's where we're going to flatten everything. So make sure you remember where the pinch is. And then the remaining piece, the leftover piece down here. Oh, well, here's another thing. So make sure when you fold it in half, the bumps matches, so that you don't have an off-sided looking flower later. So there it is. So make sure they line up, okay? The bumps line up. After that, you just twist, and you're good to go. And if yours end up looking like this because you've been squeezing it and stuff like that, you can use a comb. I don't have a comb, so I'm just going to use this little brush looking thing. And I kind of just brush it to kind of fluff it back up. So, to fluff it back up. And then, once you do that, fluff it back up. Or you can do it afterwards. But you want to take it, like you see how, because you fold it in half, and then you kind of twist the ends together. You want to now take it and then kind of like spread it apart a little bit so it'll look like this, kind of like a petal, you know. And then I have this tool here that I use, or you can use your own fingers, but I like the tool better because it does a better job. But I like to use this to kind of pinch the ends together to make sure it's really pointy, because I want that, like, you know, poinsettia point look. So afterwards you could just comb it, brush it, or however you want to do this again to make it fluffy again. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the smaller ones. So the single bumps, what you're gonna do is bend it in half like so, and then twist it in. Okay, when you're done, all you gotta do is brush it out to make it fluffy again. And there it is. Okay, keep repeating this for the remaining ones. And so the next part, we're going to work on the big stems first, okay? So I have an example here. So for the next part, you want to use a flat iron, and you want to flatten it down. So in my flat iron, I have it set to about medium high to high. So it really depends on the hair dry, the flat iron that you have. So start off with maybe medium low heat, and then start pressing your pipe cleaners down. If it doesn't flatten, then you want to keep increasing, so then maybe medium heat and then medium high. And if yours is a little bit on the weaker end, you want to adjust it to the high setting. So for mine, I adjust it to almost a high setting, kind of like medium high heat maybe. Yeah, because I tried using the lower settings, it really didn't flatten it. And you kind of want this to flatten. So here it is. Okay, now that I zoomed in, you can see that it has like a nice sheen to it. So before flattening it, it's going to look like this. So a little bit puffy, but once you flatten it, it should look like this. And the flatter you can get it, the better. I think I can flatten this a bit more, so I'll try that as well. Okay, you want to flatten it nice and flat. Now, I'm doing something a little bit dangerous, so if you want to be on the safer side, what you can do is maybe use a clamp and just clamp down on the ends and then use that as kind of like the holder so you don't end up burning yourself. But you know, you just do whatever you have in hand sometimes. So yeah, if you're afraid of burning yourself, just use some kind of clamper or some kind of holder to kind of hold it down for you. You know, I had a mini hair straightener that would work great for this, but I could not find it for the life of me, so I just have to use a regular schmegler hair straightener. But yeah, if you have one of those mini travel size one, I think it'll work a lot better. See, use whatever you have to kind of hold it down, because it does heat up after a while. Okay, so now that we have finished flattening all of the little petals, so what you want to do now is, so you know, poinsettias, they have kind of like a pointy tip, and this is more of a round tip. What you want to do is go in with your scissor and kind of just cut the two sides down so that it creates a pointy tip. Kind of like that. Okay, so you want to keep repeating this. Again, you don't want to go hammer on this. You just want to go nice and steady because you don't want to cut too much off, right? You still want that fluffiness to the pipe cleaners. And it does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect. As you can see, mine is very far from perfect. But you know what? You get the gist. Try your best. Okay, and at which point, if you find that it's still a bit fuzzy, you can go in and flatten it a bit more. So as you can see here, it's still a little bit thick on the side, and I want it to be a little bit thinner. So I'm going to flatten it a little bit more. And what I'm doing here is I'm flattening it, but I'm also using the opportunity to kind of bend it a little bit so that it's less work for me to do later. Okay, now that I have my petals done, I'm going to now do the stem. And pretty much the stem is about the same process. So we're going to go ahead and grab two of these. Okay, we're going to cut those pipe cleaners in half. And then now we're going to fold it, and again, make sure the bumps lined up with each other so we can form the leaves. Once we're done fluffing it up, we're going to again do what we did earlier and flatten it down. Now I want my leaves to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to stretch it out like so. And please guys, if you do have a flat iron and it's expensive, do not use it for this project, because depending on how hard you're pressing it, you know, there are metal wires in here, so it will end up scratching your plate. I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah, it's going to end up scratching the plate of your flat iron. So make sure you use a cheap one. So you want to, you know, your nice Chi one and stuff like that. Do not use it for this. Okay, once you have all your little side components done, you want to now go ahead and cut out your felt piece. And your felt piece is how you're going to hold all your flowers together via a glue gun. And the reason why I like the felt piece is because at least when it's time for me to glue this onto a surface, whether it be a hair piece or maybe a card, it's a lot easier to deal with a little round or square piece of felt than all of these little components, and they're going to end up falling apart. So I like to have something to hold it together. So I'm going to cut this. Now you can leave this as a square piece, but I like a round piece better since this is going to be a flower. We're going to let that dry, and once that dries, we're going to go in the back and we're going to start putting in our leaves. So we're going to put some glue on our leaves. Same here. And this is just one way of putting it together. If you feel like making this bigger, then go ahead. Feel free to create more big flower stems and make it however it is that you would like it to look like. But this is just the basics. This is just like the general gist of how I made mine. Alright, so once this dries, let me zoom in to show you guys how beautiful this flower is. Okay. So once this flower dries, you can take this and honestly do whatever you want with it. You can put this into a hair clip, and then you could use it as a hair ornament on maybe a hair bun or something. Or, since my specialty is in the card area, I can go ahead and use this here. So this is a die cut that I use one of my dies to cut out of. So then what I'm going to do is, once I finish cutting out the die cut, I'm going to put it onto this glittery background, and literally you can just have it glued on like this, right? And then that could be your entire card. How cool would it be? It's going to be very velvety, it's going to be very soft, and it's going to give it a really, really cool touch to a card if you wanted to make it. Okay, I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new about pipe cleaners that you haven't learned about before. And if you have enjoyed my video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for future content. Alright, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.